Hello, I'm the real-life fake wizard. In September of 2024, Damon Lindelof, famed writer behind Lost, HBO's Watchmen, and the Alien prequel Prometheus, appeared on the comedy podcast Lovett or Leave It. During the conversation, the host referred to Lindelof's upcoming project as a Green Lantern show, and Lindelof corrected him, quote, "It's called Lanterns because we all agreed that the green was stupid, so now it's just lanterns." That one sentence tells you everything you need to know about Hollywood and why they keep failing to adapt the properties that people actually care about. In March of 2026, the teaser trailer for HBO's Lanterns dropped, and it was exactly the show that sentence promised. There was no green, no aliens, no space, no guardians, no Oa, no Kilowog, no Sinestro, no power batteries either. The Green Lantern suits appeared exactly once, hung up on a hanger in a closet and dusty, which is canonically wrong because the suit is a construct generated by the ring. The entirety of the trailer takes place in an American desert and featured copious swearing, which is great because here's another comic book property that parents can't enjoy with their kids. Jon Stewart tells Hal Jordan he's better than him. A local sheriff tells Hal to stay out of her way. Every single character in the trailer communicates to us, the audience, that Hal Jordan is a washed-up loser. And again, in case you missed it before, there's no green in the Green Lantern trailer. This is a property about a galactic police force wielding the most powerful weapon in, I think, the entire DC universe, powered by willpower and imagination, and the creative team instead made True Detective in a desert. Here we are nearly 2 weeks since the release of that boring trailer, and Lindelof has had to walk back his comments, but not because he changed his mind, but because Green Lantern comic writer Grant Morrison publicly called him out for those comments. Lindelof posted a lengthy apology on Instagram, admitting he made a dumb joke on a comedy podcast, and that green is, quote, his lifelong favorite color. He said he was sloppy and careless with his words. Fine. I mean, say what you need to say, Lindelof. The damage is done, and the audience already knows the truth. That trailer spoke for itself. We didn't need your green is stupid comment to know how you really felt. The show looks exactly like what a person who thinks the Green Lantern is stupid would make. Now, my friends, this is a pattern. This keeps happening, and we keep talking about it because it keeps happening. Adaptations are consistently hijacked by studios for value extraction. They don't care about Green Lantern, or you, or DC, or your connections to any of those properties. All they care about is using properties like Green Lantern as vehicles to tell stories that they couldn't get greenlit because of risk-averse studios. And the reason for that is because at some level, these studios know that what modern Hollywood writers and creators are capable of making now is actually dog poo. Today's indie game shoutout is Elementers. Dive into co-op story missions or friendly co-op duels. After a brutal attack on your home village, embark on a training journey with fellow young wizards to defend your homeland. As you progress, you'll unlock and equip various abilities and characters. To learn more about this upcoming game and hundreds of other indie games, visit our free indie game discovery network, fakeportal.com, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now back to the video. I have to think, right? If you were developing a Green Lantern show and you had a blank check for a budget and you had 2 competent actors in your protagonist roles, why wouldn't you make it a proper Green Lantern show? Well, because firstly, this is an overcorrection. The 2011 Green Lantern film starring Ryan Reynolds is one of the most criticized superhero movies ever made. It bombed at the box office, it became the butt of jokes for a decade. Ryan Reynolds himself made fun of it in the Deadpool franchise. So when Warner Brothers finally decided to bring Green Lantern back, someone in a boardroom likely said, "We can't do 2011 all over again." Lanterns, from what we've been shown, is the exact polar opposite of the 2011 film. Where that movie had too much CGI, this one appears to have almost none or very little. Where that movie leaned into cosmic spectacle even poorly, this one retreats to Earth trying to remain grounded. This feels like a reactionary creative decision. The studio looked at what failed, identified the wrong variables, and then over-indexed in the opposite direction. And if this is true, then it further proves that the executives and writers making these decisions are creatively bankrupt morons. The 2011 film failed because the script was bad, the CGI was poorly executed, and the story was immediately forgettable. Space and Green Lanterns being Green Lanterns in the Green Lanterns movie is not what hurt the box office. The second reason, because like I said, there's two here, is because, and I hate that this keeps coming up, executives are embarrassed with nerdy stuff. They are. We know this. We've seen it and heard about it for decades. It keeps coming up in emails with powerful people and in legal cases, actually. Corporate executives are not interested in DC for the context of the characters and your emotional value to them. They care about making as much money as they can by pandering nostalgia to you. They think Green Lantern is stupid, and when Green Lantern is passed to a writer who narcissistically thinks they can outperform the source material because they also think it's stupid, well, we get Green Lantern with no green in it. Grant Morrison's critique of Lindelof cuts to the heart of a systemic problem in Hollywood, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. As Morrison said himself, why does a writer attach himself to this kind of narrative if he thinks it's fundamentally stupid? You don't hand CSI scripts to patronizing writers who condemn forensics experts and their haircuts are stupid. So why hire people who are ashamed and in denial about the comic book material they've been assigned to develop? Yeah, instead, all of these creators and writers are vying after a flavor more akin to the Daredevil Netflix, in both serious tone and also a lot less whimsy. There is a very high chance, and I hope I'm proven wrong here, that Jon Stewart doesn't suit up until the end of episode 7. He's likely going to be a reluctant hero, and he'll suit up in episode 7 just before the credits roll, and then we'll get a maximum of 7.5 minutes of him in the suit in the finale, where he learns the power was inside him all along, and there's some kind of confessional where a B-list character no one cares about that eats up 8 or so minutes talking about my feelings. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but there's a crappy formula to these streaming shows by now. Every product needs a customer, right? This is a foundational business principle. When you develop a product, you need to identify who will buy it, what they want, and how you're going to deliver it to them. Lanterns fails this test across every potential audience segment. Comic book fans are the core constituency for a Green Lantern adaptation. These are the people who know Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, and all of the lore behind them. They have been waiting decades for a proper adaptation. This trailer tells them that none of that matters, followed by the showrunner saying that the green is stupid. Comic book fans are rightfully feeling alienated before the show even airs. The next segment is children who are being excluded by design. This is an R-rated property with lots of profanity. Green Lantern has been a character that has appeared in children's animated programming for decades, and now the show has been developed specifically to exclude that audience. And thirdly, general audiences, the normies, have no reason to care either. Let's be honest, normies don't know who Hal Jordan is. They don't know what the Green Lantern Corps is. Remember, the Ryan Reynolds movie tanked at the box office. Most people didn't see it, and the ones who did, well, I can't blame them for not remembering. That was 15 years ago. The best thing they could have done to attract the general audience back was with a visual hook of space and the cosmic green. There is nothing in this trailer that would make a casual viewer choose Lanterns over the other 500 crime dramas available on streaming. So who's the customer? Who's this for? The honest answer appears to be exclusively James Gunn and Damon Lindelof. The show they wanted to make bears almost no resemblance to the property they were entrusted with. Considering the impact of James Gunn's creative leadership over the DCU, I don't understand how something like Lanterns is going to help at this point. I think this show, and moreover the franchise, is in a terrible spot. On February 4th, 2026, Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix, testified to the Supreme Court that James Gunn's Superman film underperformed at the box office. Of the audience that saw that film, 50% of the audience liked it, and 50% of the audience hated it. And that doesn't account for the larger viewership that it could have had. Ask most people on the street if they've seen the new Superman. Most of them are going to say no. On HBO Max, we look at Peacemaker, of which John Cena does an incredible job as an actor with, but the writing is polarizing, it's tone deaf, it's preachy, and it's far too vulgar. And by the end of season 2, the finale drew only 435,000 households, representing a 39% drop in viewership from the premiere and a 25% decline from season 1's finale, as per the Samba TV analytics. Superman underperformed. Creature Commandos, what is that, am I right? No Batman on the way. Peacemaker 2 has one of the worst endings in television history. Supergirl is not going to be a box office hit. Clayface? We're doing a Clayface movie before we get Batman and Wonder Woman? We get Clayface? Okay. Well, how about Green Lantern? Surely you can do a faithful adaptation of the cosmic Green Lantern Corps, right? Like you put Hal Jordan as the mentor to Jon Stewart, and you even do the whole True Detective thing, but you put it in space. No. Instead, we're in the American desert. Hal Jordan is a washed-up loser, and they're barely going to be suited up. Rhetorical question here. Is this sustainable? For 2 reasons. 1, James Gunn was brought in to make money, but realistically that's not happening. And with every iteration that underperforms financially or disappoints audiences, what's left at the end of that path? Which leads to 2, how many times can DC properties underperform before the brand is permanently diminished? Superhero products aren't exactly in the best condition with or without James Gunn involved. This is like a Jenga tower about to collapse. And so when you look at this Green Lantern property, which should be an origin story and should reintroduce who and what the Green Lanterns are and establish why they're important and that they're extremely powerful, instead, they choose to do a grounded buddy cop with drab colors. It's like I said before, most audiences don't know the Green Lantern origin. At least not anymore. You might. Like, you may tell me in the comments, Wizard, I know everything about Green Lanterns, and that's fine. That's good. Happy for you. Kids today don't. Okay? Kids today don't know who Green Lantern is, who any of them are, and they have no reason to care. So by saying Jon Stewart is going to return in Man of Tomorrow, a kid is going to be sitting in the theater saying, Daddy, who's that? Because they didn't watch the HBO Max show, because they couldn't watch the HBO Max show, because it was a mature audience show that wasn't for kids. Now, for good old showrunner Damon Lindelof, this turn of events is not new. In 2019, he was the showrunner for HBO's Watchmen, which is well known for being something of a bastardized sequel to Watchmen by Alan Moore. Moore hated this show, as he often hates adaptations of his work. That's not new. In response, Damon Lindelof sent him a self-deprecating letter that attempted to recognize Moore's complaints while establishing some form of emotional connection with the man. Dear Mr. Moore, I am one of the bastards currently destroying Watchmen. Moore described the letter as containing, quote, neurotic ramblings, and then told Lindelof, don't bother me, which is very funny. And here we find a repeating cycle. Lindelof insults the work of a legacy property, whether by directly insulting the work or producing an adaptation that insults the work. The original creators confirm that they have been insulted, and then Lindelof turns into the cable guys from South Park. Oh no, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Oh, whoa. Obviously, you can't take Lindelof at his word, and don't at all expect this upcoming Lantern show to be worth watching. When fans expressed frustration about the lack of green in the trailer, HBO's official account responded by zooming in on a green plastic fries basket visible in the trailer and posting it with the caption, "What do you mean there's no green?" DC later reposted it. The official social media accounts for this show mocked their own audience. The people expressing concern are the same people who represent the only guaranteed viewership for a Green Lantern property. And the marketing team thinks that these are the people it's okay to make fun of. This is what Morrison was talking about. The contempt doesn't stop at the writer's room. It extends to the marketing. It extends to the corporate relationship with audiences. As I said before, they are telling you openly that your expectations for a Green Lantern show to feature Green Lantern elements are worthy of ridicule, and they will be confused if the viewership numbers come in soft. They will blame the IP, they will blame superhero fatigue, they will blame the audience for not giving it a chance, and then 3 years from now, some executive will leak to a trade that Green Lantern just doesn't work and they're shelving it indefinitely. And an actual Green Lantern show that honors the source material and also honors all the goodwill developed from the Justice League cartoon, that show will never get made because these people burned the opportunity and they'll make sure it's the property that takes all the blame. Lindelof apologized. He said green was his favorite color. He said he was honored to work on the show. He said he'd let the work speak for itself. Well, the trailer has spoken, and it said that green is stupid. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire others to do so as well, and for the love of God, cancel Disney+.